What's up, you guys? And welcome back to another episode of
Your favorite Aunties podcast.
Nia.
Yes, friend.
So, I've had an odd against you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the word says when you have an odd against your brother, you should bring it to them.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Remember that time when I was talking to that one dude and you ain't trying to get me to stop?
Don't start telling that. No. No.
But the point is, I brought that up to you to let you know that I do forgive you. I worked through it.
Okay.
I worked through it.
Okay.
I worked through it. So we're good now.
Okay.
But you could have told me if you didn't like me, you could have just said that.
Okay, so what do you do if you try to tell somebody something, but they don't actually listen to what you are trying to say? Because you got to forgive people for that too.
Yeah. See, forgiveness doesn't just happen when somebody actually tries to listen to you. You got to forgive even if they don't want to be a willing participant. Huh? Oh, okay.
I mean, we jumping in, but
okay.
In case y'all can't tell, what are we talking about today?
Oh, yeah. What are we talking about? We talking about
forgiveness. Somebody brought it up in, was it our comments, our DMs or something? And I was like, no, we actually haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
And it would actually be a good add-on to rejection, let go, let God, heal, sis.
Yeah.
Because part of all three of those pieces is forgiveness.
Yes, it is.
Whether it's forgiving other people or forgiving yourself.
Now, we need to stay right there. Because there's a couple decisions that I've made in my life.
Come on.
Just a few.
Just a couple.
A couple that my therapist and I, we discussed. And it kind of turns back into trust. Like, when you don't forgive someone, you lack trust in the area. Because, that thing could really take root, because a part of them letting you down, you had to forgive them in that.
Yeah.
But if you're not forgiving them for letting you down, now you don't have trust in that area. Now it's really surfacing in the relationship or the friendship or the partnership, whatever it is.
That's right.
So forgiveness is a really big part of life.
It is. And even if we backtrack a little bit, I feel like most of the time you need to forgive people when you have let them in. So if we started step one, I know that we've talked about vulnerability, we've talked about transparency, and part of the fear and the hesitancy in that is that when you open yourself up to people, you're actually giving them the opportunity to hurt you.
Right.
You would hope that they wouldn't.
Right.
And you try to do your due diligence to ask the questions, to feel them out, to go through situations where you are testing. How do they respond? Is this a good person or not? What's their character like? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
That person still has the ability to hurt you because you've let them in.
Yeah.
So I know that we've talked about sometimes, let me speak for myself, my ability to just let people in.
Yeah.
Because I'm at that point in life where you're not finna hurt me.
Okay.
Fool me once.
Shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Shame on me.
Okay? So you're not finna do that. But once you do get to that point where you do let somebody in, then you have to already think about the fact that people are not perfect.
Right.
The chance that they're going to hurt you is
very probable. And unintentionally.
Unintentionally, not maliciously.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to move on for that? Because I struggle a little bit with holding a little grudge and not moving on quickly.
I don't know. I think that I'm having to exercise forgiveness in this part of my life more than ever. But I think forgiveness comes into you taking yourself out of the equation for a second and seeing why this person maybe lashed out in this way or why they're doing that. Because there's, a couple people in my life where I was only thinking of them from the relational standpoint of who we are. So let's say if it's a family member or something like that, I'm only looking at them through the lens of this is my family member instead of this being a person.
Right. Because everybody goes through things.
Right. So when I kind of took that person out of that role and I looked at them as a human being outside of who they are to me, I was like, wow, this person is actually going through something. Maybe I should be a little bit more kind. I should be more understanding. And it was only then when I really was like, oh man, I should probably forgive.
That's good. That's good. Because, we talk a lot about self-righteousness.
Yeah.
A little hard to forgive when you're self-righteous because you're always thinking, I would have done things differently.
Right.
And so therefore you should have done things differently. And I don't need to actually let that go.
Yeah.
But I remember, I don't know what I was watching, a TV show or reading a book or something. And it said, forgiveness is letting go of thinking that that situation should have been different.
Ooh.
Because once you realize it is what it is and ain't no going back, why hold on to it? Why continue to harbor it? You're literally not going to change anything. The only thing you might do is let that boil inside of yourself. Now you sick. Now you can't sleep. Now you depressed. But if you just realize, hey, this couldn't go any differently than it did. I cannot go back in the past and change it. What am I holding on to it for?
Okay. So let me say this. When we hold on to pain, because sometimes pain is all someone knows, it's comforting.
Holding on to pain is comforting. Go into that.
So when you're in a place of continuously being traumatized or hurt, or not even say continuously, but if you're just used to a certain level of pain or a certain level of immaturity from people or whatever the case may be, you get used to that. So the idea of not being in that place of pain anymore, you don't know what that's like. What does healing look like? What does wholeness look like? What does forgiveness look like? What do you mean my mind isn't consumed with the thought of this situation that happened between us?
Yeah.
What do I think about?
That's good.
And then also, when you're in a place of wanting to give somebody forgiveness or needing to give somebody forgiveness, you're a victim. You're a victim.
Yes.
So sometimes people don't know how to live outside of that victim's mentality.
Yeah. I can see how holding on to it, because sometimes we don't realize that forgiveness or not releasing that forgiveness doesn't affect the other person. You be thinking in your mind, well, I'm mad at you and I'm gonna stay mad at you. And that's making a difference. Baby, they sleeping just fine. They are happy, living their life. They have moved on. Ain't even thinking about you. But I'm mad and I'm holding on to it, thinking that you're really doing something.
Right.
Sit down.
They thinking everything is sweet. Everything is all good with them. They are not losing sleep.
Right.
Band on high, air on 60 at night. Huh?
1 foot out.
Okay. But when you're sitting up there harboring, you stand up at night, heart palpitating every time you see a picture of them on your timeline. Huh?
Come on.
Let's heal.
Let's heal.
It's
but you got to forgive in order to do that.
But do you feel like you have practical steps to healing, or do you know what that looks like? I mean, practical steps to forgiveness?
I think in some ways, yes, but in some ways, no.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a timeline that you could put on it. I also don't think that there really is like a 1, 2, 3. I think that in different situations, it looks different based on the severity of it, how close they were to you, what kind of person you are. So for me, forgiveness looks like when I see you, I don't feel no kind of way. Forgiveness looks like wishing you the absolute best and meaning it from the bottom of my heart.
So when you tell somebody to have a blessed life, you wish them all the best. When I say I wish you all the best, can't wait to see you at the top. You mean it?
When I forgive them, yes.
Okay.
At the moment, absolutely not.
The exact opposite. Rot.
No, you have to say what they say. I hope that you have the day you deserve.
Ooh.
Instead of saying, I hope you have a good day, because whatever you deserve.
Whatever you deserve.
We'll let the Lord decide.
If you let me decide, I'll tell you what you deserve. Huh?
But then, getting into that is like when we talked about before, you the villain in somebody's story too. Imagine somebody walking around harboring some unforgiveness for you.
I don't know. and do I honestly think that I'm just that wonderful? I do. But but just to think that somebody is really like, no, like she hurt my feelings. What do you mean I hurt your feelings? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, I would hurt a fly. Because why are you here?
No, but yeah.
But honestly, like I'm such a loving, sweet, kind person. Like, and I have my ways. I do. I got my ways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm not a villain. But to somebody I am. And that is wild.
It's wild.
Because I'd love to hear the story.
That comes from different people's perspectives, different people's background. We take all that happens in life, whether it's like words or images, all of that is filtered through our personal filters.
Yeah.
And those filters are created from our experiences, our background, our history, our family, our traumas.
Yeah.
So even if you, in your innocence, thought you didn't do nothing, it doesn't mean nothing if it went through their filter and it meant something else.
Right.
So sometimes when people be like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, or different things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, but also no.
Yeah.
Because I know in a lot of instances, I really ain't mean no harm.
Yeah.
But if you gonna take it that way, that's on you.
Yeah.
I mean, you should definitely try not to offend people.
Yeah.
But sometimes there is like only so much you can do because some people walking around looking to be offended.
Yeah.
And they're in our comments.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's so infuriating because it's like you were just looking.
You're looking for it.
You're combing
because
through.
I didn't even say that.
Right. What did you hear? I just want to have a disclaimer before every video and say, turn off your traumatized ears and use your regular ones.
Yeah, no, because we really do mean the best on this platform, and we're trying to encourage and inspire and all that. And for somebody to take what we say negatively just shows that it really depends on your filters.
Yeah.
And hey, do what you do, but please heal.
Yeah.
And forgive.
Yeah. Because if you in our comments and you catch me on the right day, I might say something a little crazy.
And then you're going to have to ask for forgiveness.
Who?
Hello.
Oh, I am? No, because I don't go out there messing with people.
No, you don't.
Especially in the comments. Like, my thing is, I did not go to your page and search you out and say anything to you. You come onto this page, this platform,
now
and you
I'm
say
about to.
anything about me, anything about my friend. It's on, and nobody is off limits.
Girl.
And you know I'm not...
Girl.
Oh, okay.
So, do you have trouble forgiving people?
Yeah.
In what way?
I tend to replay scenarios in my head. I will, oh my goodness, put that thing on repeat.
Yeah.
Because why did you say it like that? And I knew something was off and you told me nothing was wrong. But something is wrong because why would you say that? And then I'll think of all the things that I could have said, should have said, how it could have gone another way. Like, baby, this mind gets to going.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's some stuff I'm quite literally just getting over, and it happened a year ago. Like, just getting over.
So what does get over look like, though? How do you know, like, I'm getting over it now?
That it is not consuming my thoughts anymore.
Okay.
That when I think of this scenario or this particular person that's involved, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like, oh, well, let me not give as much. Let me, dial it back, or let me do this, let me do that. So it's just me like, I don't know how I did it, but just letting it go.
Yeah. So when people say time heals all wounds, do you believe that?
To a certain degree. Because, time will heal a wound. Now, how it heals, that's another story. Because if I break my arm, God forbid, but if I was to do that and I just let it heal, let time take its course, it'll heal, but will it heal properly? I didn't get the right stent to put in. Is it in the right position? Is it only going to heal, but now I have no movement? Like, you really got to go to therapy to make sure that it heals properly.
Yeah. I think that people have to realize just because time has passed does not mean that you've forgiven or that you've healed.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the mere fact that other things have happened.
Yeah.
And therefore it's now pushed into the like recesses of your brain.
Right.
It's not that you forgave them.
Yeah.
You just got other stuff going on in life right now. And a lot of times if you don't like address it or think about those things, then it resurfaces in another way.
Yeah.
But one thing I know we talked about like the practical tips of how to forgive. One thing for me has been realizing that everybody's not a bad person. They just made a mistake.
Yeah.
Because I tend to personalize everything. And I tend to think that when people do things or say things, they do it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, you had to have thought this through before you said it. You had to have meant this when you said it. You had to have thought like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And a lot of times I'm learning that is not the case. They really didn't just think it through like that. That word just came out of their mouth. They wasn't trying to offend me. Like, people are not always plotting and planning. And that, like, releasing that sometimes things are just happening in the moment and people are making mistakes as they go really helped me to be like, okay, I can let that go.
Well, how did you get to that place when recognizing that this isn't a malicious act toward me? Like, wait, no, they probably did not mean that. Because I know I could take things very personally.
Yes.
I'm just like, no, you thought about that.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah. When you said that, you meant that, because there's no way that you didn't, because that just seemed too personal. But again, that's me coming from different things that have happened in my life.
Well, I think one big thing was I was talking to my apostle when I was dating someone, and he was teaching me a lot about like how men think and stuff like that. And I was telling him about stop. I was telling him about a situation, and he was like, Nia, I could probably guarantee you that he really did not even think about it. He just did it. And I'm like, no, there's absolutely no way that you just act without thinking. And he was like, no, really. He probably just did it. Like, he's not really sitting up here thinking, let me do that, and let me do this, and let me say that. And I was like, you know what? I never even really just thought about people not thinking before they act. But going forward in life, it's like, no, people really do. Because I've had moments where I'm like, why did I do that? I really didn't have to do that. But I did.
But I feel like you went back and fixed it.
Yes, of course. Just being like, trying to be an emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent person. Even because there are times when I may have offended somebody or said something wrong. Yeah. And even though I personally don't feel like I did, I'll still go back and be like, I apologize that, you took what I said this way, or the way that I said it made you feel this way, even though I stand on 10 toes what I said.
I meant that.
Sometimes it's worth just being like, I apologize. You know?
I mean, I will apologize. I'll take accountability for my actions. If my action doesn't seem to happen all the time.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind taking accountability. Okay. I don't. Sometimes I do find it a little bit more challenging to apologize for my words more than an action.
Okay.
Because typically when I say things, I meant that. I meant that. And I will say it again. I'm standing on it. My firm is very stand. My stance is very firm.
Yeah.
But I don't. But if it really was bad, because I'm not a malicious person. Like, right. I really don't go out there like spewing anything crazy. Mm-hmm. But if it's definitely somebody that I love and care about and want to host a relationship in the future with that person, or continue to work in a relationship or friendship or whatever, I will apologize. I will. I don't mind doing that, because I don't want to hurt anybody. Because I know I would want somebody to apologize to me. Mm-hmm. But I just know that a lot of times if I said it, like, no, I meant it. So I would have to find a way to apologize that was still staying true to myself.
Ooh.
Because there's only so many ways that I could apologize to you about something that I said or did, when I know at the heart of it that wasn't what was happening. Mm-hmm. And it's not my fault. Especially that this is how you received
to stay offended by it.
Right. Because some people stay in offense, and that's where they want to stay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I've had moments. I remember I was dating a guy, and I forgot what happened, but he literally wanted me to apologize for what I had said or what I had did. But I really stood firm that I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. And he got really upset that I wouldn't apologize. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
I'm not sorry. Yeah. I don't apologize. Not anything malicious, but I genuinely don't feel like I did anything wrong. Right. And I'd rather stand on that than give you a fake apology.
Because then you'll look to be coddled every time something doesn't go your way. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
Because again, I know you to be an emotionally mature person. And if an apology is needed in a moment, I know you'll give that. I know you
absolutely will.
You don't shy away from accountability.
I don't mind saying my bad. That was me. Yeah. That was my fault.
Yeah.
But if I really feel like I didn't do anything, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Now, we can go about things differently next time, but for what happened, it is what it is.
But I've been working on apologizing less. And when I say apologizing less, not for like offending people or stuff, but I found myself in a place where I would constantly be apologizing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not actually, or even saying I'm sorry when it wasn't my fault. Like somebody else did something and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That was my bad. I wasn't even... No, they did wrong.
Right.
You don't have to take accountability and responsibility for their wrong, or feel like because they apologize, you got to apologize too. Or no. Sometimes there is okay, that's too much. Mm-hmm. Like, stand up.
Yeah.
You have a right to feel a way. You have a right to do certain things. You have a right to your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings are valid. And you don't have to like diminish that by saying, I'm sorry all the time.
Yeah. So how do you think you would handle a situation where you don't feel it's necessary to apologize?
I just wouldn't. I remember in that situation where he was literally like, you're not going to say you're sorry? And I was like, no.
No.
I'm not actually. And I was like, I hate that you feel that way. Yeah. I hate that you think that way. Yeah. But as far as what I said and what I did, I didn't do anything wrong. And therefore, I'm not going to say I'm sorry because you want me to. Because some people are looking for and I'm sorry. And it's like, sorry for what?
Right.
But on the flip side, there are certain situations I'm more of that easygoing, conflict avoidant person. So if that's what it takes for you in certain situations with certain people who I love a lot, if that's what it takes for you, you really just looking for that and you can't move on without it, fine. It ain't gonna cost me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Only with certain people, though.
Right.
With certain people. Like, if it was you and you just really needed me to say I'm sorry, I'm sorry, friend.
My bad.
Now, next.
What we about to eat at?
Okay. But no, that's only for certain people. I know you 10 toes.
10.
But you really do. You do apologize.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
First of all, I hate even feeling like I've offended someone. Yeah. I really don't like that. And I know that I'm one who welcomes apologies, desires apologies, and all the good stuff. So I don't mind being like, hey, my bad. But again, if it's something that I said and it's something that I meant, if anything, I may say something about my delivery, but I'm very conscious of how I deliver things to people. You know how I am.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's only so much that you can do. Like, I'm doing my best here.
Yeah.
Now it's on you to not be so sensitive and to take everything personally.
I remember when somebody was sharing how I had upset them and was recounting or recalling some situations. And I was like, wow. I really hate that was your perspective of what was going on with that. But I'm glad you got the opportunity to let me know how you felt. And hopefully you got the closure that you needed. Because your actions didn't dictate you being like this. Because so it's sometimes it's hard for me to, just take into account like what you're saying, because that's not what you were giving in that moment.
I agree. I have some more things I want to talk about. But before that, since we're talking about apologies, what do you feel is like the correct way to apologize?
To acknowledge exactly what the person is talking about. Say your part in what actually happened, and then ask for forgiveness. If that's like a verbiage that you want to use, like, hey, Nia, earlier when I yelled at you, I know that wasn't the right thing to do. So for that, I apologize. So it's like I acknowledge what happened earlier, my actions in that, and then we can go on about our business. Do you forgive me? I don't know. Sometimes people are like, do you forgive me? It's like, maybe. I don't know.
Whether you do or not, like I did my part. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like some people will just say, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, I feel like you should acknowledge. And even if it's a situation where you feel like you didn't do anything wrong per se, I can still apologize to you for the delivery or for the timing or just to take some kind of accountability on your end of what happened is important for me instead of just being like, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, somebody just simply, if I bring something to your attention and they just are like, I'm sorry, for what? For what? Like, because now you're just saying that to pacify me. I don't want to be pacified. Like, that's another thing.
That's a huge part of forgiveness, I think, that makes it both difficult and easy depending on who you're dealing with, is the acknowledgement piece.
Yeah.
For me, I'm way more likely to be able to forgive you very quickly if you are able to genuinely acknowledge the wrongdoing. But it'd be the people who are oblivious, delulu, like you just did nothing wrong. Everything's sweet.
Ain't nothing sweet.
Ain't nothing sweet. And it's like, yo, you can't like just see and, take responsibility.
Yeah.
That acknowledgement is a huge piece. But for ourselves, we still have to forgive, even if they never acknowledge what they did wrong.
That's so hard. It is really hard. I'm not even going to sit up here in front like, no, like acknowledge what you did, man.
Yeah.
And then let's move on.
Yeah, for sure. But too, I think another piece that helps me is realizing people's capacity. And sometimes people just genuinely don't have the capacity. When I think back to some people who have maybe done me wrong or whatever, or they didn't speak to me correctly or whatever it was, they didn't have the capacity to do right. So how can I really hold that against them? They didn't have the emotional intelligence. They didn't have the maturity. They didn't have the wherewithal to think, let me not do this because this might hurt somebody. They didn't have the ability to consider other people, no matter where that came from, their background, the experiences they've had in life. Everybody's navigating with different things. And sometimes they just genuinely don't have the capacity, the emotional capacity, the mental, the spiritual capacity, because forgiveness is largely spiritual.
Yes, it is.
Letting that stuff off of your spirit, letting that stuff stuff out of your heart is a spiritual thing. And if they don't have the capacity to do right, how can I even hold that against them?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. That's just...
It's difficult.
It's draining. It's being emotionally and mentally intelligent or it's exhausting being concerned and being conscious of what's happening around you.
You got to do it for you and for them. That's the thing that's draining.
Going to therapy for people who don't go to therapy is so annoying.
That part.
Largely,
I'm here because of you.
Right. How to navigate life with you. Maybe because, listen, my therapist ain't cheap.
Okay.
She good, but she ain't cheap.
Right. No, that's so true. That's what's draining about it, is having to do it on the behalf of others a lot of times. Because sometimes you're not going to get the sorry that you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the acknowledgement that you're looking for. And still God says, forgive them. It's cool when they do it.
It's a problem when I do it. Forgive them.
What about forgiving yourself? Have you ever struggled in that area?
Yeah. My therapist and I actually talk about that because of some certain decisions that I made when I was younger. She was young. She was growing. She still needed guidance,
Yeah.
Because me today, I'm like, girl, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Girl, get up. Why would you do that? But I have to go back. I'm having to do a lot of forgiveness and forgiving myself from who I was when I was younger.
That's good.
Because she was just doing the best she could with what she was like. She was trying. Homegirl was trying.
She wasn't trying to hurt nobody.
She was a good girl. Okay? But so now I'm having to acknowledge the things that I've done and say, hey, I recognize you as a person, a real person who was doing the best she could with what she had. So I forgive you. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard.
It is.
Because like I said in the beginning of the episode, a lot of forgiveness can be wrapped up in trust.
Yes. Because
I haven't forgiven myself for certain situations or certain decisions, I don't trust myself in those areas. Because there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of love. And then it's this revolving door.
Yeah.
Because you have to grow. When you grow in love with someone, an element of forgiveness has to be there. The element of trust has to be there. And when those things are broken, now you have to work on love in that area. And then when you love yourself, you show up for yourself. You show up for yourself, you better yourself.
That's right.
And it's a cycle. And when something in the cycle is broken, so are you.
When something in the cycle is broken, so are you.
Now, can you still function? Yeah.
Yeah. High functioning. That's good.
Isn't that just like a Black woman, though? Being able to function even when she's broken?
Even when she's broken, yep. Put on a great face.
Baby.
I mean, snatched.
This thing gonna keep on rolling.
Because one monkey don't stop no show.
Okay.
No, that's good. I have to work through forgiving myself as well for the same reason. Even going back to the capacity piece and working through it in therapy. Like, Nia, at the time, you didn't have the capacity.
Right.
You didn't know what you know now. You hadn't been through. You hadn't gained the wisdom. You didn't have the knowledge. You didn't have the experience. So forgiving yourself because at the moment, you didn't have what you needed to make a better decision.
Right.
You literally were doing the best that you could with what you had.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going through life doing the best they can with what they have.
Yeah.
And yes, we can go and we encourage people to go to therapy and all that stuff because all those things are giving you tools.
Right.
You are adding tools to your toolbox of life.
Yeah.
So the next time somebody offends you, you know what to do.
Yeah.
So the next time you need to be more confident, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Therapy and studying your word and print, all of that stuff is tools in your life toolbox that you can pull out when the situation arises.
Yeah.
So I can't hold myself accountable for trying to do something different. I didn't have the tools to do something different.
Come on.
I was doing the best with what I had. And that's what helps me to forgive people is most of us are on that same journey.
Yeah.
We're doing the best of what we had. Now, some of us are more aware of what we don't have.
Okay.
Than others.
Okay.
But all of us are doing our best with what we have. And so, like, people got different limits. People got different heights. People got different everything.
Yeah.
And so navigating life and not absorbing all of those hurts, disappointments, offenses, you can't absorb all of that. You got to let that stuff go.
Yeah.
You got to forgive people and move on. God has so much better for us. I believe that my ability to like forgive and be more emotionally mature, like open the door for us to be friends because we don't have to deal with that stuff, but only because I've already dealt with the parts of myself that I needed to deal with in order to be a good friend to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I feel like a lot of the different things that we go through in life are preparation for the future. But if we're holding on to the past, we're not able to move forward into what God has for us, which is more healthy, which is more beautiful, which is more pleasing and more enjoyable, because we're still looking at the stuff that happened in the past. Because that tape gonna keep on playing in your mind. When you gonna push stop? I know we got a lot of nieces and y'all know nothing about that eject button on the VCR.
Now come on. Huh?
Eject.
When are you gonna just stop?
It's up to you to push stop.
Right.
Nobody gonna come in there and push stop for you.
Right.
God not even gonna push stop for you. Come on. He said, keep your mind on him.
Come on.
So whose job is it to keep it?
Now, all right now.
No, because whose job is it? We have control. And too many times we have relinquished the control of our heart, of our mind, of our spirit, of forgiveness, of whatever else. We think it's everybody else's responsibility. No, it's your responsibility, baby. He said, guard your heart.
Come on.
Who gonna guard it? You. Do what you gotta do.
He left us in charge of that one.
Yeah, that's on you.
Now we could take it to him. Don't think it's all on you, baby. But he did tell us.
You do have some responsibility though.
Yeah.
And too many times, baby, we give that to everybody else. No, sometimes you need to forgive because you let them hurt you. Y'all don't want to have no church.
They don't want to have no church.
You let it.
Yeah.
Because you ain't have to let them people
and keep letting it because you don't have a backbone.
God showed you them red flags. You said, "Ooh, this look cool."
Oh, I like red. My favorite color is pink. Like,
let's go.
Yes.
Amusement park. And then you are struggling to forgive. Baby, guard your heart.
Come on.
Everybody don't deserve access to you.
Right.
They don't deserve it. They haven't shown you that they do. So why give them that?
What? Now, come on now, because you opening up a whole nother can of worms right now. I
guard.
Feel like,
what's a guard do?
What?
They prevent access.
They keep watch.
Come on.
Huh? So that the enemy won't come in.
That's right.
They protect.
That's right. That means you got to value your heart enough.
Come on.
To say, hey, you don't get access here.
Right.
You got to value your heart enough to say, hey, you don't get to come past this. No.
Or revoke access.
That's
if they already in there, revoke it.
Come on.
Huh? You're no longer clear to be here.
Access denied.
Okay.
Maybe that thing that got good to me.
Okay. I do want to leave them with this because it is that time, friend.
Aww.
I know. I give you permission to forgive yourself, firstly. And then second, everybody else. Like, people are growing. People are evolving. They are the best versions of themselves for that moment. Because who's to say, I've gone back and apologized to people for stuff I did years ago. Because I have the capacity now to do that.
Not that girl anymore.
And who hurt you? I'm not even her.
Don't hold me to my past. I don't live there no more.
I've changed addresses. Huh? So just forgive, y'all. I know it's easier said than done, and we're going to talk about this again, but it's okay to forgive.
Life
and to be forgiven.
That's true.
Don't let nobody else hold you in no jail. Huh?
Right. Because every apology is not received.
That we got to talk about that. Not right now though, because we got to get on up out of here. But we love you all so very much.
That was a great episode.
It really was.
I'm thinking like, man, I need to work on my forgiveness.
No, seriously.
I hope that going forward, our viewers can take the charge to think about who or what or situations that have occurred that you need to forgive, that you need to let go, even for yourself. If you're holding on to something that you did in the past, who you were in the past, God has forgiven.
Yeah.
So you need to forgive yourself too. Amen.
You know what I'm finna do?
No. Go ahead, friend.
So, Father, Lord, right now, I just pray that the viewers and the listeners are open to forgive and open to be forgiven. I pray that any hearts that are offended, that they are now convicted, but a good conviction, a holy conviction to just say, you know what, I'm going to open myself up to forgive and open up myself to be forgiven.
Yes.
And anybody who is being brought to your remembrance, even now that you need to forgive, do it. Let them go. let them get out of that jail. Yeah. Okay. And if you are bound in unforgiveness from someone else, you are free. I give you this permission to be free by way of the Holy Ghost in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, you guys, we're going to catch you next week on another episode of
Your favorite Aunties podcast. Bye.